Welcome back to First Edition. It's time now for Get Psyched with Dr. Janine Hubbard. Dr. Hubbard, thanks so much for joining us.
It is lovely to be here as always. Thanks so much.
With the recent approval of the COVID vaccine for children 6 months now to 5 years, what should parents consider in regards to preparing their young children for shots, especially at that age? You know?
Well, that's just it. We've talked about a lot of strategies. You guys have heard me talk a lot about needle-taking strategies over the last couple of years. This group's always a little bit different. Number one message I would like to convey is parents, your young children, especially at that age, are going to pick up on your reactions and your body language. Even things like very young children, when you're holding them in your arms, if you're feeling nervous, you're going to hold them a little bit tighter. They pick up on that. They pick up, they don't know why it's a scary environment, but they pick up if you are feeling nervous, if you are feeling afraid. So if you can, be mindful of your own reactions, be mindful of the language that we're using. The good news is very young kids actually have probably had more vaccines than a lot of older kids, and certainly more than adults, because they've had that regular vaccination process through public health or through their family physician. So in many cases, the really young kids are more familiar with it. But watch yourself, watch your language. You don't want to be giving consoling, oh, you poor thing messaging. You want to give the, you got this. That kind of message is going to be really important.
So, I mean, obviously when you're talking about infants, you're not going to have a conversation with them. But as they get a little older, you know, around kindergarten age there in that group, you know, do you have a chat with them, or how do you kind of approach it with them, or can you?
Oh, you can absolutely approach it. And again, you keep it in age developmentally appropriate language. We engage in a lot of medical play at that age. So that's why those medical toy kits are so popular. Get them doing it with their dolls, get them doing it with their stuffies, get them, you know, giving you a needle, get them practicing it, so that it's something that is familiar and easy. A lot of kids are really either surprised or dislike the smell of the disinfectant wipe. So that's something that's really easy to practice. And again, get them to practice on yourself and other members of the family. And in the really young infants, because of course you can't talk or practice that through, helping to distract them, keeping them busy, keeping, you know, them not looking at what's happening. But there's actually really interesting research that shows that things like a little bit of sugar water, or making sure if you're someone who is nursing them during the process, can be really helpful. There's actual evidence that it reduces pain levels. So you can also go home and tell Nan she was right. A little bit of sugar water, a little bit of Mary Poppins sometimes does the trick.
You know, it's funny you talk about, you know, tips for parents. And I remember when my children were young and getting their first shots, you know, the public health nurse would give you a little bell to distract them. And I was clanging that bell like the town crier, because I was getting, as they started to cry, I started to get more worked up.
Yep.
It's interesting that parents really have to kind of maybe get, for lack of a better word, psyched up about these shots, right?
Absolutely. And even if you have to fake it, just being mindful that because at that age, often kids are sitting on your lap. So telling them a story, distracting, doing that as much so you're distracting yourself, and just keeping your own body as relaxed as possible, and not, you know, doing that death grip as you're holding on, can make a world of difference in terms of the message that your child is perceiving. And yeah, clanging that bell is simply setting that all the literal alarm bells off. So let's try not that technique.
Good advice. Dr. Hubbard, thank you so much for this.
Thank you.